Now it is getting recorded. P be the point on the normal at a radial distance r at a radial distance r from the origin. So the origin is at this one exactly. O is there at this junction. It is the origin. So here the direction cosines. In order to understand the terminology, when a plane in a material is subjected to a normal force N, as shown in this figure, um, and which is making an inclination with all the three axes, and we are naming that one as alpha, beta, and gamma, then the direction cosines can be uh, explained here. So here, what is cos alpha? What will be the cos alpha? So cos alpha is equals to, with r as the distance from the origin to the point. So this is the distance, the distance from the trend line from the origin O to the point P is r. The distance from point O to P is called as r, and this r will help you to find out cos alpha. So cos alpha, if you take the angle over here, it's going to be x by r. Similarly, cos beta, that is with respect to y-axis, it is going to be y by r, and then cos gamma is equals to z by r. So I'll write this in the next slide. Cos alpha equals to x by r, cos beta equals to y by r, and cos of gamma equals to z by r. I hope you have understood this. If not, just see this diagram. Here you can see this and try to understand where alpha, beta, and gamma are the uh, inclinations with respect to x, y, and z axis for the normal n, for the normal force n uh, on the material, right? So for this, the distance from origin to the point P or to the point on the plane is marked as distance r from the origin. Okay, when you have distance r from the origin, then from triangle, if you take the triangle with alpha as inclination, then it is going to be uh, x by r. Then cos beta equals to y by r, and cos gamma equals to z by r. So all the three axes are having some inclination, and if you find out cos theta, sin theta, cos alpha, cos gamma, and cos beta, you're going to get x by r, y by r, and z by r. Then this x is going to be, or you can write this one as x equals to r cos alpha, y equals to r cos beta, z equals to r cos gamma. So let us name these r cos alpha, r cos beta, r cos gamma as L, M, and N. So these are called as the direction cosines, the distance along that. Let cos alpha be equals to L, cos beta equals to M, and and cos gamma equals to n. Okay, so therefore if you substitute that in this equation, here it is going to be L equals to x by r, m equals to y by r, and gamma is equal, sorry, not gamma, n equals to z by r, where L comma m comma n are known as direction cosines of the line OP, of the line OP. So O and P are the, what is point P? Point P is the uh, distance from origin to the force acting on the plane. Okay. So here we know that x square plus y square, x square plus y square plus z square equals to r square. Okay, and this can be written as x square by r square plus y square by r square plus z square by r square equals to 1, right? So we know that x by r is uh, L, and y by r is m, and z by r is equals to n. So obviously it is going to be L square plus m square plus n square equals to 1. So what is this L, M, and N over here? Once again, what is this L, M, and N? L, M, and N are called as direction cosines for the plane over here, which is making an inclination of alpha, beta, and gamma. Right. So this is about direction cosines. Now this is only the basic thing that is required for you to remember. Whenever you cut plane, any plane in this cube, if you cut anywhere, you might cut a plane like this also. You can cut a plane somewhere which is intersecting. It is a cube. You can cut it anywhere like this, uh, along this point, along this plane, which is touching all the axes. Uh, this is your x, yeah, which is touching like this and this. So it is touching the z-axis over here. Okay, it is touching the y-axis over here and x-axis over here. So you can cut any plane and find out the state of stresses over there. For that, finding out the state of stresses, these direction cosines will help you to solve the expressions. So next is analysis of stresses. Analysis of stress and strain in three dimension. Okay, so for this I found one video for this one where you can understand that step by step. You can understand that if you go through the video, but it is of 1 hour of video, but we have only half an hour. But anyhow, we'll see how far we can understand that video and go through that.
So resultant stress components on an arbitrary plane. So what is an arbitrary plane? What is the meaning of arbitrary plane? If you have a cube,
I hope the audio is clear.
this is a cube. You can consider any plane at any orientation. Okay, that any plane considered arbitrarily, it is called as arbitrary plane. Now I will consider one plane here at any orientation. So this hatched section is the arbitrary plane I have considered. I call it as A, B and C, and this is the origin. Now due to external forces acting, what are the stresses developed in the arbitrary plane? I have to derive the equation. So I will draw that plane separately. Okay, this is the plane ABC. I will take it out. Okay, this plane is taken out and I will draw this separately here. Okay, now for this plane ABC, I have to derive the stress components. Now I will locate the origin. This is x-axis, this is y-axis, and this is z-axis. Okay, now due to the applied external forces, there will be stresses developed in this body. Now here plane ABC. In this plane ABC, we will be considering three direction cosines L, M and N. These direction cosines are normal to the planes x, y, z. X plane is AOB, y plane is BOC, no, y plane is AOC, x plane is AOB, and this is z axis perpendicular to that. BOC is the z plane. Okay, so here if I write x plane is AOB, then y plane is AOC, then z plane is BOC. So for these three planes, I have considered LMN as the direction cosines which are normal to these planes. Now there will be a stress developed in the x direction normal to the x plane. This is sigma x, and to the y plane there will be a stress developed, normal stress sigma y, and normal z stress sigma z. Now these are the three normal stresses. Similarly, there will be shear stresses on each plane. Now shear stress on x plane in y direction will be like this. This is shear stress on x plane in y direction. Similarly, shear stress on x plane in z direction. Next, here in sigma on the y plane, shear stress on y plane in x direction. Then here shear stress on y plane in z direction. Similarly, on z plane, shear stress on z plane in x direction, shear stress on z plane in y direction. So these are the stresses developed in the body due to applied external forces. Along with this, there will be three body forces. So body forces, I represent it here. This is Fx and Fy and Fz. Okay, if I draw it separately here, Fx, see this enlarged view I am drawing here. This is Fy and this is Fz. Okay, three body forces will also be there here. Now, if I assume the area of plane ABC as A, okay, then what will be the projected area of ABC on XYZ planes? Okay, so when I project plane ABC on X plane, it will be area AOB. So projected area of ABC on x plane means AOB is equal to area of ABC, that is A into the direction cosine of x plane. Okay. Similarly, if I project this area, okay, area ABC on y plane, that is AOC, I will get area of ABC into direction cosine of plane y. Similarly, if I project it on z plane, the z plane is BOC, so the projected area will be area into direction cosine. Okay, so these are the projected areas of plane ABC on XYZ planes. Next, see, due to external forces, there will be a resultant stress on this plane ABC. Since plane ABC is a 2D, there will be a traction force acting on this. So that traction force will be T, and we have taken the notation as T for the traction forces or surface forces or traction stresses or surface stresses. Now, because of this T acting on the plane ABC, which is a resultant stress, T is a resultant traction, okay, resultant traction stress or simply resultant stress. Now, this resultant stress can be resolved into 3 components. So, T can be resolved into, T is the resultant stress, it can be resolved into 3 components along XYZ, namely X, Tx, Ty and Tz. So, Tx, Ty, Tz's are the resultant stress components of a resultant stress T. Okay. Now, since T is a vector and Tx, Ty, Tz are the components of the vector, from the vector algebra we can write T square is equal to Tx square plus Ty square plus Tz square. So, resultant stress vector equal to sum of the squares of the resultant stress components. Next, due to Tx, okay, which is stress component in x direction, there will be a, because of this stress Tx, there will be a force acting on the plane x, okay, and that x force will be perpendicular to x plane. So, due to stress Tx, there will be a force acting on the plane on which Tx is acting. Since Tx is x component of stress, there will be a force Tx into area, okay, acting on the x plane. Similarly, due to Ty, there is a force of Ty into A, and there is a force of Tz into A. X direction force, Y direction force and Z direction force acting on the plane ABC. Now, if we consider summation of forces, okay, stress Tx.
So you can see from this video that the projected areas of A, B, C on X is A, O, B. Can you understand? Did you understand that? And also the L, M, and N, the direction cosines that is used. So the same thing over here. We are actually trying to find out the resultants of stresses in an arbitrary. That is, in an arbitrary means in the other direction. In the other direction, which might be perpendicular to the plane or inclined to the plane. We are trying to find out the stresses in arbitrary, that is in the other direction. I hope you have to follow this point carefully, otherwise this entire derivation you will not understand. If you don't understand the concept why we are doing this one, then it will be just number of papers that you're counting, this much of data, it will not be into your mind. So you should understand one thing, we are finding out the stresses in a particular, at a particular point is what we have learned. Now this in 3-dimension, the component of stresses in an arbitrary, that is in the other direction. You can see, as I have also explained before, the first direction cosines, that force is making an inclination alpha, beta, and gamma with the plane that is where I want to find out the stress. So for that, to find out that arbitrary stress, the derivation, this is the derivation that is available. Okay, So for that, we have to take this projected areas of ABC along X, Y, and Z, and then this resultant traction stress or resultant stress. You can also say that as a resultant stress.
Sigma fx equal to 0, sigma fy will be 0, and sigma fz will be 0 for a static equilibrium. Now considering the first case, sigma fx equal to 0, we know first force, resultant force Tx into A in x direction, so we will write that first. Then we will consider all the x direction forces. One is sigma x, and we have to multiply that by area. So area of AOB, area of AOB is A into L. So minus sigma x into A into L. Next, here another x minus tau zx A into M. Next, minus tau yx area into M. Okay. Then last one is this body force Fx, which I have written here separately. So plus Fx into volume of this cube AOBC. So volume of the cube will be area of the base, any base you consider, its height into 1 by 3. This is equal to 0. Okay. Now what we want stresses acting on the plane ABC. If we want a resultant stress on the plane ABC in terms of the stress components acting on the XYZ planes, we have to make the plane ABC overlap with any one of these planes. Okay, that means we have to make this plane ABC pass through origin. That means this height h will be 0. When the height h is 0, because ABC plane has to pass through origin, then this term becomes 0 because of h is 0. Then what remains is Tx, this is Tx into A, these three terms, I will take it to that side. Tx equal to sigma x into AL plus tau zx into AL plus tau yx into AM. Now just rearranging the terms, Tx, A is taken common and removed, then sigma x into L plus tau yx into M plus tau zx into N. Similarly, we can write equations by considering these two conditions. So for Ty equal to tau xy into L plus sigma y into M plus tau yz into N. This is xy, yz, zx, xy, yz, zx into L plus xy, yz into M plus sigma z into N. So these three equations are called as Cauchy's stress relation. Okay, Cauchy's stress relation will give you Cauchy's stress relation will give you the components of a resultant stress acting on plane ABC. Okay. Now what we will do, we can write this Cauchy's stress relation in matrix form, Tx, Ty and Tz. This is one column vector which will represent the components of a resultant stress or resultant stress components, and one square matrix representing stress tensor. Okay, Cauchy stress relation can be written in this matrix form. Next,